Pants down, get my belt. Time to put on that tunic. Today on. Now the intro's playing.
Don't talk over the intro.
You're right. You're right.
Imagine it's a library.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Press Me to Cancel. Apparently I got something to fix in post. That's okay. I am your host this week, Sick Jake, and today I couldn't be more excited to talk about this game. This is a game where I feel like games critics are saying it's game of the year or it's on their list of running, but most people I talk to have never even played it or not even given it the time of day. So today we're going to be talking about Tunic. It's an indie game. It's fucking fantastic. Sorry, YouTube. But I'm not alone in this debauchery. I'm joined by the Sisyphean specialist, Sinistar. How you doing this week?
I'm fucking great. Sorry, YouTube.
And also joined by Lore Master Werewolf. How you doing this week?
I am doing wonderful. I've been excited to do this episode for like a month and a half.
Great. Yeah, me too. And we're also joined by, this isn't a JRPG, Chardmonk. How you doing this week?
No, it's a very long fucking movie. I'm doing great. Sorry, YouTube.
Just like Star Ocean. Yeah.
And
All right.
Xenosaga.
And Xenosaga and everything else on. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about Tunic. So look, this game, it's been out for several months. It's on freaking Game Pass, which you can get like a subscription for $1. So I'm telling you right now, play this game. But if you're not yet convinced, I hope we will convince you in the next little bit talking about this game. I do want to talk about spoilers. I want to talk about the ending and the ending puzzles, but we'll give a clear warning of when that begins, because nobody's talking about the end of this game, and they really should be, because it's really freaking cool. But before we get to the spoilers, I just want to talk about the base game itself. So all of us here have beaten it, and I'm so glad, because I think I was probably driving you guys crazy with how much I kept saying, have you played Tunic yet? Are you even going to play Tunic? You really don't want to miss Tunic. So I want to go on
You were driving us crazy, but you could obviously you were driving at home, and then it turned into a joke because me and Wolf had already finished it.
Right.
Then I started playing it, and then I think Sinistar maybe played like an hour of it. And
I
you
had
were like,
started
"Have you ever even heard of this game?"
I'd started playing it before Wolf ever played it. I played
Oh, yeah.
something 2.5 hours, 3 hours, which, I mean, this is not a spoiler, that you don't have any concept of the game at 2.5 to 3 hours.
No,
This game is not the game you start playing.
100%.
It's not the game you're looking for.
It's great because when I first played it, I'm like, okay, guys, this game is great. You should play it. And you guys are kind of cold on it. I'm like, all right, fine, no problem. So I uninstalled it. And then I think a month later, Wolf, you're like, this game is great. And you start talking to me about it. I'm like, well, shit. Okay. Sorry, YouTube.
Okay.
So I reinstalled it again. But every single time when you guys started playing it, I'm like, well, crap. So I reinstalled it. I uninstalled and reinstalled this game 3 more times with you guys. And I found that hysterical. But go ahead, Wolf.
I think I kind of did that too, just for other things when you and Chard were playing after I had already uninstalled it. So here's what happened. I wasn't having a ton of time to play games, and then I got sick. You know, the big sickness everybody's getting.
The big C one?
So I was stuck on the couch or in bed or something. I was taking it easy. I was coughing up a storm if I was doing anything physical at all. So I was like totally neglecting household chores. Like dishes were barely getting done. I wasn't really doing much of the laundry. Like I was just a lazy bum on the couch.
That's my house, but I'm healthy.
What's clean?
Well, I should elaborate. I'm the stay-at-home parent, so
Right.
I don't go to work. I do all the shit around the house. So,
But that's a qualifier? Like, still, what's cleaning?
I don't know what cleaning is. Even if I stayed at home, I wouldn't know what the hell cleaning is.
house spouse. Yes, that's a great word.
I'm like,
word.
ask the pile of laundry that is strategically placed out of my camera side.
I was playing the hell out of this game, and at first, I was kind of getting my ass kicked because mechanically, like when you first fire it up, game's fucking adorable, right?
Oh, it's cute as hell.
Looks
Yeah.
like a
So
modern kind of low poly bird's eye Zelda-like.
It looks like
it's not.
Link's Awakening. It looks
Yeah,
very
kind of.
Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
And so I was intrigued by the look. And the game's super mellow, but the first time you actually encounter difficult enemies, it becomes very apparent how difficult this game is. And mechanically, this thing is like Dark Souls, Elden Ring,
And I
Bloodborne.
hate
Those
saying it's a Souls-like, but it's a
No,
Souls-like.
it
When
right?
you
is
Yeah.
like
die,
it's
when
it's
you di-
all.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Oh, I was gonna
sorry.
say it's all about dodging at the right time, using
Yeah.
your shield appropriately,
Yeah.
using windows of opportunity when you get the chance.
Well, and when
And
you die, you have to go collect your stuff again.
Yeah.
yeah,
Well,
Corpse run.
it's
not
it's
to,
not
not to the
all of
level,
it
but
though. It's you
I
only
I
lose
know,
like 20
yeah.
coins,
Inter,
like
I know,
whatever
intercharge
they
mode.
call them.
but it feels very Elden
It's
Ring
very,
/ Dark
very
Souls.
Dark Souls style.
Yeah. And so mechanically it was I was struggling to enjoy this game to a degree. And that's not because I didn't like the gameplay, it's just because I have fallen off of the Dark Souls games. Two of them. I fell off the first one and the second one because they were just too brutal for my liking.
Right.
And it's not to say I don't like a difficult game, but there's a certain level of, and fortunately this game doesn't have that, is you lose all your souls in Dark Souls and you
Mhm.
have to try and work your way back through all the same shit that kicked your ass the first time
Mhm.
again to try and recollect that, and if you die sooner then all of that's gone. So
And
it's not nearly that brutal, and I think that's why I didn't fall off of it.
Not as
and
punishing
if
at
you're
all.
and in FromSoft world, if you're fighting a boss and you die, your shit is in the boss arena, and so your only way to keep it is to beat the boss, right? You
Yeah.
have to run into the boss arena, touch your effigy or whatever it is, and then defeat the boss. Otherwise, you're in this endless loop of my souls are sitting there and I'm screwed.
Or
At
you
least in
just
this game, you
reserve your
can leave
effect.
the arena if you grab it fast enough. So it's not as bad.
You reserve yourself to the idea that you will never succeed, and you power through it. And that's
Yes.
how you play those games.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah,
hit that
go
low
Uh,
point in Tunic at all. Right.
That's
That's why I hate to
that's
say it's a Souls-like, because it's a Souls-like, but it's not like you're gonna hate yourself for playing this game like you
It's
might
just
Dark
Right.
Souls.
the combat mechanics is very Souls-like. Like Wolf said, there's a lot of dodging, there's a lot of shield, blocking and timing, perfectly timed attacks that is very similar to, like, you can't just go in blazing. You gotta know where to hit and where to go in. So it takes a couple rounds, to plan the attack or see what the enemy's doing and strategize around it, and then you go in. It's just like Dark Souls. What do you got, sister?
Can I throw out a new tagline for FromSoft, which is I've resigned myself to never finishing this, so I might as well finish this.
I mean, that's essentially it. I'm going to fail to succeed. That's pretty much how that works. But yeah, no,
but
it's just the mechanic designs is very like timing based. You have to make sure that you get in the window, you get like 1 or 2 slashes, then you get the hell out. You can't just brute force this game. You have to be smart
Yeah.
about it. And
Absolutely.
when people said it's like Zelda and Dark Souls mix, I was like, that's a weird hybrid. But goddamn, is it not a
It's
Zelda
accurate.
Dark Souls mix? It truly is.
Plus, eventually, puzzle game. Like,
We'll get to
it
that.
turns on its head. It turns on its head.
We'll
By
get
the
to
way,
that.
I'm watching the video, and it's reminding me this game is gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
it is.
Yeah. If you've
Yeah.
played the recent Zelda Link's Awakening remake on the Switch, that's what this reminds me of. Although a heck of a lot better and a better frame rate in this for sure. It oozes style and it's so good. Like I remember seeing this game. This game was in the making for like 8-9 years,
Yeah.
mostly by
This
one
one?
guy.
Tunic?
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah,
That's
one guy
yeah.
mostly made
crazy.
this.
I mean,
He only
you
got
can
help
tell.
toward the end when
Yeah.
he got helped on board with, I think it was Finji, to help with publishing it and whatnot.
Mhm.
If you ever
Yeah,
played the web
he
game
had-
Cannibal was done by the Saltzmans. They helped
Yeah.
with this game at the end.
Yeah.
So,
So,
Wolf, you should finish
yeah, it
your
was-
yeah.
I'm sorry.
I wanted
interrupted.
to mention what Jake was talking about there. There are 2 music composers, I believe, and along with
Gorgeous.
Andrew Schultes, that's his name.
Okay.
he was one of the artists, and he enlisted the help of 2 more artists. I think one of them is the one who did the manual artwork, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And then I'm not sure what the other one did. I'm guessing backgrounds and help with the main, assets. But all in all, it is really 5 people really got their hands dirty for this game.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's so
So
impressive with what came out of that. I mean, I don't know if there's much about this game, and I don't want to be like total homer about it, because I think it goes without saying that the 3 of us all played, or the 4 of us played this all a different style. All of us did. And
Yes.
Jake commented on that. Wolf commented on it when we were, when they'd come in and watch me, or we'd watch, Sinistar do his playthrough, because unfortunately neither of us really got to see Wolf or Jake do it. But they were asking questions like, how did you find that? Wow, you're doing that a different way. So we all have our own different aspects about it, but all of us can contest. And we said it, the graphics are amazing. The surrounding is fantastic. The story is really cool. And the music is absolutely spellbinding. I would
want
just
this
sit there.
soundtrack.
I'd stop and just listen to the music from time to time, because it was that good. There are
Very
times where
Yeah.
I'd stop
And-
talking just so I can listen to the music.
in Chard's video, when I was watching, it was funny because I heard him say exactly the same thing I thought at around that point in the game, is that the music gave off total Chrono Trigger vibes early on.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I hear that.
Absolutely.
But before we get too much further, I do want to address 2 things before we scare people off, because we were talking about how this is a Souls-like. This game has accessibility that
Yes.
makes it totally doable if difficult mechanics are not your thing. You can turn certain settings on and off as you see fit. You can turn off damage, so you will. It's not damage; it's like no fail mode. So you'll lose health, but you'll never go below bottoming out.
Yeah,
You
I got
won't die.
scared. I got scared a couple times because really quick aside, I did it in no fail mode. And I did it after the first couple hours in no fail mode. And there were a couple parts where my health still started dropping, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm screwed. And you just bottom out and stay there.
Yes, and it also has the setting to turn off stamina, so you don't have to worry about running out of stamina when it comes to blocking, dodging, and attacking.
Yeah. So if I can talk on that point there, that's what made this game doable for me, because I don't mind the Souls games. Elden Ring is the one I like most recently played, but I'm used to kind of doing the dodging in these kind of games, like even Witcher 3. I'm always more of a dodge roller. But this game, although there is dodge rolling, it kind of wants you to do the shield block instead. It uses less stamina, if I remember correctly. And if you're just doing dodge rolling, you run out of stamina so fast, and it makes the bosses incredibly hard to do. So I think I got to the second boss or the first boss, and I just said, you know what? I'm turning on no stamina. And I played the rest of the game like that, and I was a much happier person for it. I still had challenge in the combat with the life and exploring and all that, but I didn't have to worry about the stamina. And to me, that made this game better. And I'm so glad that this kind of game has those options, because had it not had that option, I probably would have bounced off this game 100%.
Yeah, I feel like that's a thing that needs to be more readily available in more games, is the options, these sorts of options, because as most of us and our listeners are aware, time is a limited resource, especially when your life is busy with all sorts of whatever have you, family, wife, children, husband, tons of work, whatever it is. These options let you play the game without feeling over encumbered by it, and without burning more time than you have for it.
Mega Man 11 did it.
Yeah.
Now, Mega Man 11, you can't turn off some aspects that are really difficult. And in Tunic, if you want to play this simply for the story, you can do what I did and put this in you can't lose mode.
Or you can do what I did and hate yourself and play this thing with everything still on and die a lot. And
I watched your video, Chard, of one of the battles. It's the one that we all reference.
And we'll talk about
And
the spoiler section, but yeah.
and I actually quantified in your video, and it was like an hour and 20 minutes
Yep.
that you were doing that one fight.
And I would not turn it off. I was like,
No.
nope. There's another fight in there that you guys will talk about, I'm sure.
Yeah.
When you drop in and you're in that, the big area. And I had to split up my stream that I was my video for it because I couldn't finish it. I was getting too tired. I was getting burnt out. And then I came back and we did it a couple times after that. But I mean, I was there. God, I even played it off stream, like to try and figure it out. And I was just getting my ass kicked.
I'm talking the fight that leads to one of the endings.
Mm-hmm. I love
that one took you like an hour and 20 minutes.
I love that fight.
It was a cool fight.
It took you like an hour and 20 minutes, though, man.
Care. I loved it. It was.
We will talk about all that. One other thing I do want to mention is now that we're sitting here talking about it, I realize you guys all played this on really powerful computers. I played it on a freaking Microsoft Surface in the living room, and it was so gorgeous.
Cool.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I like when I sit at my desk and I play games, like the way that my computer is built, it blows hot air on my leg if it heats up, right? I don't remember this blowing hot air. I play Gloomhaven weekly with my cousin and brother, or with my cousins and brother, and my leg is really warm by the end of that. And I don't remember my leg being warm by the end of Tunic.
Nope.
Yeah, this is a game where it uses the hardware specs. For as good as it looks, it is not demanding on a computer. And all the more reason, honestly, for people to play this game more often. Like if this ever gets on the Switch, this would be a great Switch game as well. Or if you have one of those fancy Stream Decks, it's
have
great.
A Steam Deck. Yeah, play this on the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Well, Steam Deck is like 8 times more powerful than a Switch. A
That's
Steam Deck plays this
like an
anyway.
OP mini computer. It's probably more powerful than this thing on my desk.
Yeah. But the Switch, this is a game that I was really surprised. I talked about this when I played it, and I think Werewolf, you were around, where I said, why is this not on the Switch? Like, this is a Switch game.
Yeah.
It seems like it. It looks like a Nintendo game. Like, you're right. It looks like it's straight, like it wouldn't come to PC. It looks like you would get a Switch and you would buy this.
I do know that this game was Xbox exclusive for 6 months.
Okay.
So it was limited to, well, as far as, console
Xbox PC.
go.
Yeah.
So it took 6 months for it to get to PS4. Otherwise, it was on Xbox. It was on PC, Game Pass, Tunic Steam. Wow. Yeah. My brain. Cool.
It's on the Tunic app.
Yeah.
It is on the Tunic app.
Yeah. So we were saying. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. My first iteration with this, I believe, I'm going to shout out a streamer. I was watching Legion's Arcade play this game. I saw bits and pieces of it, and I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And I just didn't I didn't ever focus on it. It was more or less like, "Oh, he's on," and I had it on in the background, and he was talking about, it's a Dark Souls Zelda game, and I was like, "Well, it definitely looks like a Zelda clone. I could see that." And then Jake reiterated that when he kept going, "Tunic." I get on my MPs every morning before work. I get Jake, guys, good morning. Hope you have a wonderful day. Tunic. Tunic. When are you guys going to play Tunic? We got to play Tunic? You played Tunic yet? You should play Tunic. We should do an episode about Tunic, but you guys got to play it first. And we were like, okay, all right, fine. So, then he goes, it's on the Game Pass. You can download it on the Game Pass. The Game Pass is only $1. Go check that out. I went, fine, I'll go get Game Pass. And I did, and I don't regret it. I don't regret it 1 minute. Actually, I'm very upset I didn't play this sooner, to be honest with you. I should have listened to Jake much sooner. Don't record that, Jake. I need that.
Always listen to Jake. His game recommendations always hit.
We'll fix that.
You played Circus Charlie,
especially Circus Charlie. Yeah, especially Circus Charlie.
And
balloon.
Put the B right back screen on.
And balloon.
You mean Joust?
Yeah, I mean Joust.
Yeah. Okay. So we were saying we basically just mentioned, like, with the accessibility options, all 4 of us played this game fairly differently in what we turned off and when we turned it off. But that's also in the gameplay itself is interesting. And this is very first 40 minutes of gameplay. You start in the video, for those watching YouTube, you start with a stick, as in, you have the shittiest sword as possible. In some Zelda games they had that. And then
I got a stick.
You do end up getting a sword early on, but I couldn't find it. So I ended up doing the first, or mid-boss, I guess, with just the stick. And I don't know if you guys had that experience or if you guys found the sword faster than I did.
No,
I start a lot quicker than that.
as soon as I
Yeah, I found
found as soon as I found my way into a certain area, I went in like as soon as I did, and I was like, "Hey, look at this! This is my sword." I expected that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The pan around, slowly pan around.
And then
Opening up
somebody
the treasure
saying,
chest.
"It's dangerous to go alone. Here, take this."
I kind of wish they had an old man analog to do that because that would have been a great shout out to Zelda. But
Right.
it's crazy because you know what? And it took me so long to find the sword because the underlying theme of this game is it does not hold your hand at all.
Mhm.
Not
It's
even
like it
remotely.
gives
No.
you what you need,
Mm.
and that's
No,
it.
I disagree. I disagree.
You think it handholds you for the sword?
No, I don't
No,
think it
but
holds
it
your hand
hand
at
holds you
all.
on. No, it hand holds you on everything. Because once you have completed the game and you realize what has been given to you over the time of the game, you realize that you're a fucking idiot.
Right. So it gives you what you need, but we're too stupid to realize that it's given us what we need. Yes.
No,
and
I
I had
think
that
it's-
feeling a lot.
Stupidity that's a harsh word. I just say
You're ignorant.
strategically
You're ignorant.
strategically ignorant towards what the hell's going on because you don't think
Yeah,
about it. You don't think about it. I mean, to avoid spoilers right now, because we'll get into that later. The item that is given to you is so mundane
Uh-huh.
that you're just like,
Eh,
okay, this is just doing what any of like what I would expect this item to do for me. But that item is the most important thing in the entire goddamn game, and you
That
have
item-
it to start.
that item is the game.
It is
Yeah.
the game. It is the game. They
And that's
should
what
have
we
named
can
it something
and we can
else.
mention that to a degree, and that's the big thing about this game is it's not just a Zelda Souls-like.
Yeah.
It's also the manual. Inside of Tunic, they've created a love letter to the classic manuals from the 80s and 90s
Yes.
games.
It looks
Right.
like a Nintendo manual that you flip.
Yeah.
through.
Yeah.
Like you zoom in, you can see the fibers of the page, the ink on top of it. Some pages have coffee stains on there.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it
cool.
is,
Little,
and it
little
looks
hand
cool.
drawn.
Yeah, it looks hand drawn. It looks so cool, but it's so dense of information that is in a language that's not English at first. It slowly translates as you unlock it. But there's so much to that manual. At first glance, you're like, "This is cool.
It
This is
it
cool."
does not slowly translate.
It
as
never
you go.
translates. It never
Nothing gets
translates.
translated for you.
You just
No?
figure it out.
Oh, you figure it
there's
out.
No, you
Okay.
just figure. It's almost like learning another language, but you still don't know what it says entirely.
So, yeah, I think this is something we can talk about without spoiling. There's a whole language in this game that most of the game, including most of the manual, is presented to the player. So it's all this foreign language that you have no idea what it's saying, but you're taking context clues to sort of piece certain things together. So the manual, extraordinarily important in this game.
Yes. Well, it is the game.
It is
Yeah,
the game. Yes.
it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you find pieces of the manual as you progress. You're not handed the whole manual right off the bat.
No.
This also is not a spoiler, but the entire game. Well, yeah, the entire game, other than finding a few items, which aren't required, is unlocked at the beginning, and you don't like. Now,
Yeah.
I'm not going to spoil it by telling you how, right? But there is nothing that is behind a wall.
Yep.
There isn't.
You
The
could
power
speed
is
run this
within you
game
all along.
You could speed run this game and get the bad ending in like
Mm,
10 minutes.
yes. Okay. I was going to say there's one ending that's behind a wall.
Yeah, not the good ending, but the bad ending in 10 minutes. Because you're right, everything that you have is available to you. They just don't tell you right away. But once you know, it's like a mind fuck. That's one of the things about this game I loved hate. You'd finish a dungeon, and the exit of the dungeon would be hidden somewhere in the overworld, but you could have gone there at any time and stumbled across that exit and kind of gone backwards to the dungeon had you known. And that's the key. Had you known, you could have done that. But you don't know. And that's
This game
where the
literally
fun part
runs on your ignorance as a player.
Yeah.
It does.
Because it's great.
It's all designed that you could just walk to wherever you need to and get it done. but because you don't have a good basis of information or an idea, you just go through the motions. It's ingenious. It really is ingenious that they can literally be like, yeah, the ending's right here. You just have to walk to it, and you're like,
I don't want that to steer people away, though. The
No,
journey,
no,
it
no.
won't. I don't
the
think it will.
journey is
Yes.
epic. The journey to understanding just that level is absolutely epic.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And the thing with this game is it's a Zelda Souls-like at first, but that's not all the game is. There's a
No.
deeper meta to this game that they don't tell you about in the beginning. Again, they tell you nothing really. But once you unlock that part of the game, you're like, mind blown. This is amazing. But if you
The
don't go
experience
far
is
enough,
completely transformed.
if you don't get that far in the game, and it doesn't take very long. It's not a long game by any stretch. 12 hours maybe to get there, if faster probably if you're charred.
Yeah.
But once you get there, it's
4
like
days, man.
like I mean,
That was
when you
probably
guys was
12 hours for Chard.
when you guys were doing the looking at the Chivos for this game on Steam or something, what percentage of people actually got the good ending to this game? It's
I didn't
low,
look at
right?
the good. I didn't look at the good.
I have some achievement.
Wolf's got
counts
the
here.
stats.
So
He's
hold
got
on.
the, he's
Yeah,
got the,
I
he's got the
pulled
dollar
I
signs.
pulled the stats
Okay.
for 3 achievements.
Okay.
So it on the Xbox Game Pass is how I played it. So I saw, the Xbox achievements. Now I think those numbers are skewed, and I'll explain to you why. Literally right off the bat in the game gives you a stick as a weapon. Right off the bat. Like
Yeah.
30 to 60 seconds in, right? 99.74% or something was
Have the
the amount of people who got the achievement for collecting the stick on Steam. It's 77% on Xbox.
So people
So
have
I have a
installed this
theory.
game.
But not
People have
played it.
installed this game and started it.
Right. I have a theory that this is a case of people installed it thinking maybe it was something else or just didn't put as much time into it because they didn't buy it. They
Yeah.
had it on Game Pass. It's like, I'll give it a shot. And there's also the potential that some of them really liked it and stopped playing it on Game Pass and went and grabbed it
Bought it on Steam.
purchased it on their
Mhm.
platform of choice.
That
Yeah.
makes
So
sense.
those are both things to consider here. But only 50% of players get the first key
Okay.
and there's a handful of keys. I'm not going to say how many because I don't want to spoil that.
This is the
It's still early on.
key-
Yeah.
This is the first key that we all get, right?
Right.
Okay.
So this is the first major item that starts moving the main
Yeah. Yeah.
The
plot,
plot.
I guess you could
Yeah,
call
yeah,
it,
yeah,
of
yeah.
the game forward.
That makes
50%
sense.
of people on Steam get this, only 11% on Xbox.
Huh.
So the drop off is massive.
And
You
that's
get what
again,
you pay
that's
for.
Game Pass.
You get what you pay for.
Right. So on Game Pass or on Xbox, it's literally under 5% for both good and bad endings.
Mm,
Now,
What about Steam?
here's the fun thing. On Steam, the bad ending is only 26% of players got the bad ending.
okay.
Oh, really?
30% got the good ending.
Wait,
Huh.
what?
Wow.
I-
People pay
I
for the
thought
game
about that.
and put the money into it, I guess,
But
But
no.
it
I would
kinda
think that it
makes
would be.
sense.
I would think it would be on its head, the other direction.
I would
would
think
think so,
that too. But honestly, the only reason I got the bad ending is because I knew about the good ending. So I was
Right.
like, well, this has got to be the way to get the bad ending. So I went and got the bad ending.
So Jake was with me while I was playing this, and I was looking for certain items.
Mhm.
I was looking for certain items, and I went to a location, and I was like, maybe there's an item over here, and I dropped in, and I couldn't get back out until
Right.
Okay.
But
So
that's fine.
mine was kind of accidental bad ending.
Yes.
So I knew about the good ending too, and I was like, I'm just gonna go straight to it. And Jake again, babysitter, was with me and was like, you should go fight the thing and just get the bad ending so you can understand. That's
Yeah.
what it's like. Just go do it so you can get the idea of it. And I went, I just assumed you fought it regardless. Spoiler. But so I drop in and we do the fight, and you're fighting them, and I was like, "This is fucking badass!" And again, it took me an hour plus or whatever.
Hour
And
20, hour
I
20-ish.
I was getting Dark Souls vibes, so I'm in it. And then he was like, "Okay, you got the bad ending," and I got it. Went, "That's fucked up." And then I was like, "All right, now I want to go see what the good ending is." And
The bad ending is so hard fought.
It is,
and
that's what you get.
And it's a bad ending.
It's
it really
a bad
is.
ending.
And honestly,
I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
And that's a point
Really?
where if you got that ending, a lot of players, I also feel like if that was the ending they got, they'd be like, you know what? I'm out.
Done.
I'm done. What a waste of a time.
But
Yeah.
here's the thing. What you don't consider is that if you get the bad ending, you can still get the good ending on that same playthrough.
Sure.
Yes.
Which I did.
If
Which
you
we
don't
all
get-
we
if
all
you-
did.
But if you get the good ending first, you have to play through again to get the bad ending.
Yeah. Which
So
is why I
that's
told
probably
Chard,
why
get the bad
more
ending
people
first.
got the
Yep.
good ending than the bad
Yeah.
ending.
That's why
in terms
Jake
of
turned me
achievement.
around to just do that first and get it out of the way, which I'm glad I did. That was honestly out of all four of us, though the ending was garbage, that was like my favorite part of the game was that fight. I was like, let's do that again. Like I was on the scariest ride at the park, and I wanted to go back on it again.
It was very FromSoft. It was very
love it.
FromSoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fucking loved it.
And it's like, again, I don't want to give the wrong impression to folks. Yes, there's Dark Souls feel to some of these bosses, but there's not that many of them. It's not a Dark Souls game at all. So look, I think we're going to get to the spoilers at this point. I just want to say in this game,
We should probably call out spoiler warning now.
Yeah, but I just want to say before we say spoilers, this game is fantastic. And yes, it's a Zelda inspired. It looks like Zelda. It has some Dark Souls elements. The combat is really fun. There's accessible options to make it easier or harder or to customize it. It's worth playing, but know that this game is more than just that. It is more than that. There's puzzle elements to it, and it expands, and it's worth playing fully through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, before we get to the actual spoiler warning, here's what I would say, because Brother of Sin, who has been a guest on the channel, has just started playing it, and he's been sending me messages like, I'm going to go try to defeat this boss. I'm going to go try to defeat this boss, and I'm over here going, you don't know the game at all.
Yeah,
you really don't. And so I saw him in chat. So if my brother's still around, you have no concept of this game. Write it out. Write it out.
Yeah, write it out. I am we know out of the 4 or 5 of us of the whole podcast that I guess I would be considered the Dark Souls aficionado of the group.
Yes.
It like everybody says, and I'll tell you this as a guy who has beaten his head against every single one of these FromSoft games and beaten most of them, if not all of them. It's not like that. It really isn't. It has the elements. It has some special things to it. The fights are very reminiscent of it, but it's not to the point of where it's going to take you 6 hours to finish something up. It won't. Yeah. And you're not going to get walled in by a fight. You won't get walled in by a boss. There are ways around it. And the game even gives you the opportunity to make it so that if you're just like, screw this, I don't want to do this fight this way, I just want to get past it, you turn all that off. And there's no shame in any of that. That's what it's designed to be that way.
I was going to say, if you feel like you're bouncing off this game, suck up your pride and turn off the fail mode. Go into no fail mode. I'm not
Chard, monk.
I'm not kidding. Well, no, Chard, you will stick with it. So many other people will be like, this game is too hard, uninstall.
And they're missing out by doing that.
You guys really are. Agreed.
There is the fight that I thought was the hardest in the game, and I'm not going into spoiler territory yet. Don't worry. That Chard managed to beat, and I couldn't do it. I probably put an hour and a half into that fight before I threw my hands in the air and was like, "Nah, I can't," and turned on no fail mode. But the funny thing is, while I was watching Chard play, I realized strategies that I could have utilized that I totally didn't think of at the time. And while I was watching somebody else do it, I was like, why doesn't he just do that? Because he doesn't know about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's another thing that's really cool about this game. If you play it with another person playing sort of alongside you at the same time, and you're communicating with each other, like, I found this, I found that, you get that really like from when we were kids, that schoolyard, dude,
Yep.
did you find this in the game? Did
Yep.
you
Yeah.
see this?
Yep.
Did you
Yeah.
come across that? And
And that, yeah, and
Jake
that's
and
the
I
other thing.
had that with a couple of points too, because we were
It's fun as
playing at a
hell.
similar
Yeah.
time. And Jake
There's
told
no
me
wrong way to do it. There's
Right,
no
Jake
wrong
told
way. You can
me
play it any way you want.
about a hidden room that I did not find. That I don't know. Do we want to say it's a spoiler or not?
Well, yeah,
Should we
let's
get-
let's do spoilers
Let's get into
now.
spoiler
So
territory.
he,
Let's
All
he
right.
told me
say-
about a secret room
Hold on,
that
hold on.
was
hold
really
on.
neat, but had
Stop.
no
Hold-
impact. No, I'm not doing spoilers yet. Just hold
Okay.
on.
All right.
It had no impact on the gameplay,
Hmm.
but it was a cool
Okay.
secret nonetheless.
Right.
It's more of an Easter egg, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
But I ran by it so many times and didn't notice it. And Jake was like, "Did you find this room?" Because I was finding all sorts of
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
And I was like, "No, I didn't. Where
Yeah.
is that?" So he had to tell me. And then I was like, "How did I miss this?"
And then you
Okay.
did. I think you told me about it when
Yeah,
when you were on
yeah.
the last time I finished it up, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool. All right, this is kind of neat."
All right.
I-
So
I
at this
think we
point in the
need to-
podcast,
I think we need to just lay it out.
in audio and video, if you're listening to this episode, I hope we've convinced you to play Tunic. I'm telling you, this game is amazing. We're all telling you it's a great game. Whether you think it's game of the year is your own business, but man, this game is worth playing, and it's not very long, and it's on Game Pass for $1. Come on. But now we're going to talk
Install
about
it.
yeah.
Install it. If you feel like you're going to bounce off of it, turn on no fail mode.
Yeah.
Play it for the story.
Go
But-
past the stick.
on the other side of the coin, because I am such a fan of this game, if you like it and you do finish it, go pick it up on Steam.
Oh, I'm gonna
and
go
get
buy it.
these
Yeah.
get these guys money, because it's worth it. It's I honestly, I will go buy this game. It is worth every penny. That
Yes.
even though we beat it and I didn't finish everything. I didn't 100% it. So there's still opportunity to go back and do it again. But I would go and pay for this game because this is spectacular. So give it a run
Okay.
on Game Pass and then go buy it.
All right.
Yeah.
Jake,
This is the
kick us
game
off.
you look at the creator and you see what he does in the future. That's what I'm sure.
Exactly.
We're doing
Yep.
spoilers. Now we're gonna
Spoiler time!
nothing is taboo. We're gonna fucking spoil everything. We have to talk about this game. I've been holding this in for months. Charles got his notebook. We gotta talk about the spoilers. And the first thing I do
If-
want to talk about, the very first thing, is that room I told Wolf about. There's a room in the game, and you can go to whatever you want early in the game. And it sounds stupid, but it lets you change the color of your fur and your tunic to whatever you want.
No,
And
it's
your
all
scarf,
sorts of things.
And your
There's-
hair.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
are 5 aspects you can change the color of: your fur,
Yes.
your hair, your tunic, your boots, and your scarf.
Yes.
I ran around pink hair for like the back half of this game.
Think
Yeah.
Oh, I did too. I was like blue fox, pink hair,
Yeah.
Yeah.
purple tunic, ice blue boots.
And it's
cool.
awesome. And like in most games, we give you that customized options at the beginning of the game. In this game, you could go through the entire game and miss it entirely. That's this
Yeah.
freaking game.
I didn't see it
But
till the end.
I also love that the little items that look like your character,
Yes.
they changed the color for that too.
Yes, yes. Okay. I'm gonna say this right now because we're in spoiler territory. Check behind every fucking waterfall.
Every
I'm not
waterfall, every
I'm not
wall,
kidding.
every tree line,
Corners.
Uh-huh.
walls.
And if you're running across the map and you say, "Hey, that flower, hey, that plant, hey, that thing looks suspicious," it
You're
fucking
right.
is.
You're
It is.
right.
Most, yeah, it very likely is suspicious in that case. Yes.
Yeah. So here, let's break it down this way. So you get the bad ending, and the only thing you're told at the bad ending really is that you can do New Game Plus or you can continue your game. When you continue your game, it tells you the number of pages that you have remaining, I think it is. And that's your clue to
It
get the
tells
better
you how
ending.
many pages you're missing.
Okay, so many pages are
Right.
missing. And that's your clue of what the good ending is. You need to find all the pages of the manual. And that's what it is. And the main loop after that point is you need to find these a gathering place, which is in the manual, and fairies belong there. And the fairies are trapped or hidden among the entire freaking map. And then the manual tells you about something called the Holy Cross, which is
The
which is
Holy
funny.
Cross.
The Holy Cross.
I love the Holy Cross.
Wait,
And it's
wait,
just-
wait. Hold on. Jared needs to get out before we talk about
Yeah.
this. He's still
Oh,
hanging out.
Jerk, get out of here.
No
Go on.
way.
We
If
love
He
you.
says,
but go.
he says,
Really,
I'm out.
really.
He says I'm
Last
out.
No
warning.
way.
Last
Yeah.
warning.
Go.
If you're listening and you have any intent to play this game,
Stop.
away now.
Yeah.
Come back
Please.
after you've played it and
Yeah.
listen to the remainder of this episode.
Yeah, after you've beaten it and you got all the secrets, you come back and listen to this part of the episode. Trust me, I don't mind. Stop halfway through
And
the
we
episode.
will shoot the shit with you all day about this game.
Hell yes.
Okay.
Yeah, come
Even I'll do it.
into our Discord. I'm gonna like, whatever. Come into our Discord, go to pressbtocancel.com, come into our Discord, and we will shoot the shit with you. We will even probably create a sub channel for spoilers so that you can avoid it in the main one. And we will talk about this all day with you. So come to our Discord.
Okay.
I strategically wore this shirt because it has the Holy Cross on it.
And the Holy Cross is the name of the D-pad. And that's the thing. So a lot of the games, the secrets in this game is using the D-pad combinations to unlock things.
So cool.
And it is clever as all fucking shit. And that's what this game is. And you're finding these fairies. How do you find the fairies? Throughout the entire world, in areas you've been through a dozen times, you pass by them, you'll see patterns on the wall. And that maze-like pattern is directions you put on the Holy Cross. And that's the puzzle element of the game. And that's the part I love so much, because you're looking where you didn't realize. You're looking at tapestries. You're looking at vines on a wall. You're looking at a fucking carpet.
Freaking tracks was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you will not see these patterns until you realize.
You'll see maybe like 2 or 3 of them and then go, huh, that's unusual. As we said, anything looks suspicious. And then once you see that pattern and realize what it goes to, then you're like, Jesus Christ, these things are everywhere.
Yes,
I can't
are.
I'm going to bump into every single one of these.
They're just so innocuous and easy to miss as just decorative.
Yeah.
Something neat little decorative touch on the game. And all of a sudden, at one point, it all just clicks and you're like, oh no, I've seen these everywhere. Now you're running around all over again to find them.
Can I tell you that even after I was using the Holy Cross, I was still looking for the Holy Cross. I didn't realize. I thought it was behind one of these fucking walls. I'm like looking for this piece that's a Holy Cross. I'm like, D-pad, do this thing.
You're still looking for an actual object that is that
Holy Cross. Yeah.
Like,
I do want to reveal one thing about how dumb I was with this game.
We all were dumb with this game.
Yeah.
I thought you had to pray to do that stuff.
I mean, that makes sense.
Every time I
hold.
did the Holy Cross enterings, I was praying. And then at some point, I realized, wait, that worked without me having to pray. Really? You don't have to pray?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I forgot to pray. Oh, fuck, it worked anyways. Yep.
So we should probably go around, maybe talk about a couple of the secret things you unlock that are fun, because they're all puzzles. And again, spoil territory. I want to talk about one that I was with Chard when he was doing on Discord playing through, and it was the windmill. I kept saying, is there a windmill in the game? Look in the manual, Chard. Look on the map. Is there a windmill? And eventually you found the windmill, and then you're like, well, what the fuck is this? So on the windmill in the game, and it's a windmill you pass by dozens of times.
It was even less than that.
Too.
It was even less than that, because I watched the VOD where you were with Chard. You were like, because it's in the manual, and I looked at it, I'm like, I've seen a fucking windmill.
Yes.
And Chard is like, what's that symbol? And you're like, you should look through, you should look and see if you can find something that looks like that. You were being very
I was trying not to
vague.
spoil the
He was
first
intentionally being vague, which was good because I'm an idiot. If I'm not slashing and dodging, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So, I did all the hard stuff that I thought was easy, and you guys did all the easy stuff that I was like, I'm an idiot. I am the dumbest human alive when it comes to these goddamn.
That windmill one was tough though. So it's a windmill in the game, and you pass by it all the time. And when you actually go to look at it, there's a pattern on the windmill that you can trace, and it gives you a hint in the manual how to do it. And that's the D-pad combination you do. And it took me, when I did it, it took me a few tries to figure it out, because I think that's one had the line going through the path, which means you do a direction twice. So that was tricky, but that's the kind of puzzles that are in this game. That windmill was hilarious. It's something you see in the game from hour one, and that's actually an unlockable secret you need to get the good ending. And I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah,
I do want to mention the shopkeeper.
He's creepy as hell.
Yes.
Did we all have the same damn reation to the shopkeeper the first time?
Crap!
I was like,
this guy, he's huge.
I was like, I'm gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm in my
you
first
step
boss.
into this massive, just black, empty space. And this shopkeeper who's just terrifying looking the
He's like
first time you see him.
He's like skeletal.
Very
It's
nice.
it's a
actually very nice.
giant fox skull and hands. Just
It's very creepy.
Well,
Very
skeleton hands. It just comes up out of the bottom, the abyss. And it's like, oh shit, I'm not supposed to be here.
So-
Yep, that was.
and it's
And then I was
great.
like, okay, he didn't seem to chase or kill me, so I went back in.
He actually like
And I
bows
waited
at
a little
you,
longer.
Yeah.
and he like thanks you. I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
and he's
I like
and
that."
like once you actually start interacting with him, he's super cute too, just like everything
Yeah.
else in this game.
I wouldn't call him cute,
it's-
but he's neat.
No, he's cute. Like you
He's cute.
buy something from him, and he's like
He bows to you, like he's
bows
really
to you
polite.
and
You're
puts
like,
his hands together. It's
you're the most
great.
polite demon skull I've ever seen in my life.
We
How
should.
polite.
You just pointed out something because the whole cute thing, and I think we could get something right out of the way because this is very short and easy to talk about, which is the bad ending.
Oh,
The bad ending,
Yeah.
you drop into where this creature that you've been throwing stuff at the entire game. When I say throwing stuff, you've been paying homage to this creature the entire game. You show up, it grabs a sword, and it comes at you.
Yeah.
And the first time it kills you. We're in
Instantly.
spoiler land. So the first
Yeah.
time it kills you. And you spend a good however many hours being undead or being a ghost or whatever you want to call it. And then whether or not you get your body back, if you drop back into that area, there ain't no getting out unless you
It's
die.
It's
or
the
beat
coolest
it.
fight in the
Yeah.
game. It's the coolest fight in the game.
It's
And
definitely
then
a
if you
last boss
beat it-
fight.
And then if you beat it, and it is probably the hardest fight in the game. And if you beat it, you get a bad ending.
Fucked.
Yeah.
I disagree with that
absolutely
sentiment. This was not the hardest fight in the game for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I-
it is
Can I,
it
There's
is
a
can I
at
big
least
least
reason.
yeah.
Can I take a swing at it there, Wolf? Can I
Okay.
take a swing at which one? It's two of them. It's either, and I'm just going to name it since we're in spoiler territory. I'm going to say Coliseum or Dude Underground in the mines
This is a
that you-
Coliseum for
that you
sure.
watch
Yeah,
me at.
Coliseum, hands
is
down.
fucking
Boss rush,
insane.
basically.
No, I watched you play the Dude Underground,
Yeah, you were there with me on
and
that one.
you exposed some weird bugs in his AI that I did not encounter.
But that only
was
happened
really
like once
cool.
or twice. Like the final
It-
fight
it
was
was-
actually pretty legit. But yeah, we got
it
some
was still
good. Like he
interesting to
kept
see
jumping
him.
back, and I was like, "Fucking get stabbed, bro. I'm cool with that. Whatever. You do what you got to
Yeah,
do, man."
The arena was definitely the hardest fight for me. That's the one that I had to turn on no fail for. But
I almost turn on no fail for I was this close, and I went, "No, I'm going to figure this shit out."
But either way, if you play it like every other game and you take on the end boss, you get a bad ending.
And that's
Like,
and that's when you think this is the game, this is all there is to it, and that's where you have to really remind yourself, no, there's so much more to this game. You have to keep going. Because
Yeah.
that's a shitty ending. No, there's no sugarcoating it.
and as you pointed out earlier, that's the one scenario where it says, "Hey, do you really want to start again, or do you want to try from where you are?"
Mhm.
Okay. So Coliseum fight, boss rush, various statues, each one gives you a boss. There is one of them that gives you potions, and there's a trick here that Wolf, you explained to me after the fact I didn't realize. So in this game, there are cards you can get,
cards.
and they alter the game slightly. One of the cards, for example, gives you hearts from enemies randomly. Another one gives you faster run speed, shit like that. One of the cards lets you use your potions, remember Dark Souls, and make it so the potions, instead of giving you life, give you your mana back, because there's a magic meter. That would technically let you use your magic more, and also one of them is to heal. Is that what you guys are using it for, or was it for the attacks that you were using it for?
There's one that drops hearts from enemies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
Yes.
That one.
Okay.
You don't
But the
get a lot
mana
of them, but it's
attacks,
still
yeah.
very helpful.
Because like I think Wolf, the one of the things that you were explaining to me was how you not cheese, but it was like a tactic where you're using the wand and the dagger together to get a unique attack. Much like if
Yeah,
anybody's
so
played Link's Awakening with the arrows and the bombs, if you use the Link's Awakening, use them together, you get exploding arrows. This game has that with the ice dagger, which is
Mhm.
expensive and it freezes. And there's a cheap magic wand that shoots projectiles. Use them together, you have ice wand, and it's freaking
Yes.
amazing.
Which is in the
I-
manual.
It is.
Yep.
It is, but not when I figured it out.
No.
Yeah.
I
Not-
figured
you
it
have to
out.
look
So
for
you
it. You have to
figured
dig
like
for it.
it tells you about this very late game.
Mhm.
Like when you find that manual page, you're pretty much cleaning up at that point.
Yeah.
I figured this out because I'm a dumbass and misinterpreted something that the game was trying to tell me. In the manual, when it shows the magic wand and the magic dagger next to each other, and then it shows a question mark mystery item underneath, and it's like it shows those two things, and then in the text box below it says something about a magic or the Holy Cross, and I was like, okay, so I tried them at the same time, and I was like, that's the Holy Cross, all right. And then as I was playing through the game, I kept seeing mention of the Holy Cross in the manual. I was like, why are they talking about this so much? I don't understand.
Now you say that you misinterpreted it, but because you talked to me about this last night when I was finishing the game. I went back and looked at the manual, like you talked about it when it was going on last night, and then I went back
Mhm.
today and looked at that portion of the manual again. I argue that was intentional.
It
in the
might have
manual.
been. It might have been deliberate to make you think, okay, if I combine these, maybe I'll get something different.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
there's a lot of deliberate design choices in this game as far as cluing the player into various things. And I will get a lot deeper in that in a bit here.
Yeah.
But
Deliberate
Yeah,
but
that's-
subtle. Yeah.
All right, we've talked bad ending. Let's go back to secrets that we found.
Yeah. So
Well-
some of the secret fairies, like go ahead, Wolf.
no, I was gonna say something and now I forgot. Shit.
Right.
So
There's another
never
there's
mind.
one of the secret fairies you get, or it's one of the secret unlocks. I'm just gonna call a few examples that I thought were really good. Or maybe bullshit. There's one where it took me a while to figure out. It's a cave with an invisible pathway to get to the middle.
Mm.
And that invisible pathway, you have to mark down the route you take, because that's the D-pad combination. So you're literally taking your fox through an invisible maze, getting the directions, and that's what you input on the D-pad, and you get the fucking fairy or whatever it was.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, and
No.
that's like that's the level that some of these get. And there's 20 fairies and there's like 10 other artifacts. So there's like 30 of these stupid puzzles. And some of them get really fucking in depth like that.
Yes, they do.
All right, I want to talk about one. Werewolf, you helped me with it last night. I want to talk about one. It's in the West Garden, all the way west by this tree.
Oh yes, Jake's favorite.
Yeah.
The fairy
And
by
you-
the tree.
And you
on the
get
little
there
island.
and I'm trying to do like, because everything's patterns, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I see these little flowers and I know that that's happened before. And so I'm trying to go like left down, but it's kind of off kilter and blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, how long did I spend on that, Wolf? Probably 15 minutes just sitting
Yeah,
there, like
I
trying to
think you were there
brain
for
on
about
this thing.
15 minutes while I was just hanging out. And I was having a wonderful time because I remember how much Jake was so livid about this one when he messaged
Jake found
me
this
after
one
he
with me
solved
too.
it.
Jake
It's
was
one of
with
the
me when I
earliest
found that one.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And it's
So I actually solved a different
Yeah.
one before this because there's another one that has a similar the fountain.
mm,
It's a similar thing. And I solved that one before going over there. So once I had solved that one, the little island was a breeze because it's the same damn thing. Except
mm.
the one at the fountain has less things going on. You
Right.
guys, for some reason, both of you looked at the fish swimming around like those were an important
Yes!
clue. And
Yes!
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, because well, and to my argument here for looking at the fish, there are some of the little ghost people that are doing patterns that you're like, that's the pattern, right? And so I'm like, well, the fish have to be moving in a pattern too, then.
I didn't even look at the fish when we were over there.
Well, and you
I
know
just
what?
saw the
though? That-
flowers.
depending on the puzzles you do, that's not so outlandish to think that the fish might
not.
be your clue.
No,
Right.
it's totally
really
in
not.
scope. Yeah.
There's the wind chimes. I don't know if any of you
Mhm.
figured out the wind chimes. The
You
wind
pointed
chimes
that
are
out
one
to
of
me.
them.
Yeah,
They
you
blow
pointed that out
north,
to me.
south, east, and west in a
No.
pattern
What?
that is very difficult. Very, very difficult.
Is
That's
that
the-
that we discovered it?
This one I had to cheat because I stared at that thing for over an hour and tried so many variations, and I was always like, most of my variations that I came up with were just like one button press off.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
was so mad. And it's because like the chimes don't like, it's not a cling, cling,
Yeah,
cling,
yeah.
you know, like most of them, they kind of blow and then blow, and like it'll be the same
Yeah.
like this. It'll almost be
Mhm.
one motion that it moves from one to the next. And
Yeah.
it's hard to discern because
Mhm.
they're itty bitty and there's 3 of them. So
Well, you remember
I
there
had to
was
throw in the
one.
towel on that one.
Was it? Which one was it? When you were with me last night, was it the library werewolf? Where I was off by one? I missed one.
Oh, the
No,
carpet.
it was the little spent
carpet, right?
Mario
It
block.
was. It was the
Oh,
spinning
the blocking
cube.
one. Yeah, the cube
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That one was
Uh-huh.
tricky because you have to watch what directions it goes, and it doesn't slow down. It took me a
No.
few times to get the directions off that cube.
And it's every rotation. That's what threw me
Yes.
off. I thought it was
Yeah.
like when it changed, that was when you changed the direction. It's every rotation. So it'd be like 1, 2, 3.
And I
1,
missed it.
2.
In my
Mhm.
notes, I was off by one up click.
That's
I was off by
Yeah.
one up click.
And
I
there's a
do
few
think it's
puzzles.
funny.
Go ahead.
I was trying to explain the seeking spell to Sinistar last night to help him not go so blindly.
That seeking
And he was
spell.
like, "Oh, I've seen the seeking spell." And he goes to look it up, and I'm like, "Dude, it's up, left, up, right, down, right."
Mhm.
I used that
It's
so much.
It's even in my fucking
haven't-
video. I even
Yeah.
say
haven't-
this is the damn direction for
You
it.
measure
I-
it.
I
Yeah.
haven't input that code for a month and a half.
Yep.
And I still like that quick. I remember that of all things.
Yeah.
I thought I had to find the seeking spell. I thought I had to find it in the game. It's in the fucking manual.
It's in the manual.
Fucking
Manual
manual.
gives you everything you need.
Everything's in the manual, man.
Yeah.
Everything's in the manual. Yeah.
And there's like little codes hidden out all throughout the manual. Like and they do
I
little
literally
things.
have
Like some of them
nightmares
just,
of Jake saying, "It's all in the manual. It's all you need.
It's all in the manual.
All in the
Everything's in the manual.
Everything's
But
right in the manual."
Some of these
Shut the
puzzles, though,
fuck up,
are
Jake.
obscure, even when you know what to do. So
Mhm.
the cube one is definitely one. The other one I had to cheat to, and it's the one where you're in a cave, and there's the pattern that's on the wall
On the
off
water.
reflections from
The
the water,
spins. The spins.
and it spins
Uh-huh.
slowly. I know what to do, and I tried it. I feel like a dozen times to get the combination. So it's one where I knew what I needed to do, but I couldn't get the exact route correctly. So I looked that one up. I had to cheat for that one. I knew what to do,
that one.
but it wasn't clicking for me.
That one's in my notes somewhere. I got that one.
Yeah, I got that
Or-
one too.
There's a few like that. So
I don't know. I have I have so many notes of just arrows going
Yeah, just
various
fucking-
directions.
yeah.
Absolute gibberish.
the first game I've had to take notes.
Yeah.
I think since I was a teenager. I mean, as a kid, there's role playing games and puzzle games where I took notes. I have not had that experience until this game, and that's so amazing. Yeah, we all have
Yep.
notes. We all have notes.
Oh yeah.
Right?
You
I-
have
crazy.
to. There's
I
no way
have a
you could do this
bunch of
without it.
these
You have to have
pages.
an eidetic memory to remember half of the crap that you saw. It's insane how
It's-
in depth and how lengthy some of those are. I want to talk. My favorite. I'm not my favorite, but the one that was hardest for me. We all want to talk about. So I'm gonna leave that one off the table, and we can decide who's gonna split the wishbone on that one. But the weather vane, the freaking weather vane that's sitting out in the middle of nowhere, where you're like, okay, and you open it up, and it's got all the symbols written on it, or all the runes and everything written in it. I got to say, my wife came in and read my book, and she goes, "Are you okay?"
Ah,
She's like, Are you learning a different language? Like, should I be concerned? Are those runes?" Because the runes are written. Now I'm flipping through the manual because everything's in the manual. And I'm flipping through the manual, and you get to one of the maps. I believe it's the what is it called? I can't remember. It's like the Sky
Overworld?
Palace one.
The,
It's not the
the
overworld.
Ruined Atoll.
Yeah, the Ruined
Yeah.
Atoll. Thank you. And there's a thing on the bottom
it
of the
is, right
screen. Yeah, there it is, right
Yeah.
there. There's a thing at the bottom of the screen, and it looks like a diamond shape, right? And it's got
Mhm.
runes written in the four
Mhm.
corners of it, essentially, not corners. But if you look at the map in the 4 square corners, it has those runes written in it, and then you
2 of each.
read
Yes.
yes, and then you read the weather vane, or it's not really, it's a compass, I guess is more accurate.
It's a compass, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the damn directions written in the runes. And it's north, south, east, west, but it's northeast, southwest, all that shit. And then you have to decipher what it's saying on the thing and in the book. So I'm trying to write these runes down and then translate that it's northeast, which one's northwest, which one's northeast. Also, apparently you have to do that one in the freaky daylight, because I spent hours at night trying to unlock it, and I came back in the middle of the day and it worked just fucking fine, and I wanted to break my controller.
Oh, I didn't
One
know
of
that
the
part.
ferries, one of the ferries I stumbled into was a night only
Yes.
ferry.
Mm-hmm.
But the guy
Didn't
does
know
the
that-
directions.
Didn't know that was a thing.
So it's funny because each of those little runes on that weather vane and on the compass, they say nor, south, east, and west. So they don't say the full word. They just it's very
say enough.
shorthand.
Can we talk about the rune language? Because last night I get the page of the manual for the rune language, and Werewolf is describing to me how this works. There is a symbol of your character, the fox, and there's 3 runes next to it. So I'm over here going FOX. And then underneath it is a picture of your sword, and it is 2 runes. And then Werewolf, please describe this.
So I explained to him, I was like, okay, so those 3 runes next to the fox say fox, and the 2 runes next to the sword say sword. So I explained to him, on the fox one, the first rune says fa, the second rune says k, and the third rune says s.
Mm-hmm.
And then on sword, the first rune says sor, and the second rune just says d. And so they give you little context clues in there about that.
For those watching or listening to the podcast,
figured I went and translated this the slow way. Like I had a starting point and ran around, and every time I found a chance to like find something, I was like, oh, okay, here's something that'll help me. Maybe I can translate this. And I would work it out first, and then I would be like, okay, for sure, this is what this is. This is what that is. And I started to figure it out. So
can I point out a part?
Okay, go ahead.
There's a part where you fried my brain. Like
I
you
was
literally
fried.
You literally had. You remember the commercial when we were kids? This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
It's your
And
brain on Tunic.
There's the egg in the frying pan. This is your brain when there's a little circle underneath the rune, and my egg goes into the frying pan.
Yes. Okay. So here's the fun thing. Let's assume. Okay, let's say you have
use fa. You can use fa.
Yeah, fa. Okay. So if there's the little circle, you notice how sometimes there's a little circle underneath some of the words, under some of the runes.
Seen that, yeah.
Yeah, that means you flip around the order of the vowel sound and the consonant sound. So it goes from being fa to off. Right.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
yes.
off. Yeah,
Off
that's actually pretty accurate.
Oh.
So it's funny because it's got like it's all phonemes, right?
Yeah.
So the inside of the rune determines the sound it makes, from basic consonants to combinations of like th, sh, ch, zh is one of them. Ng is another one. So it mixes all these, right? And then the outside, the outer rim of the rune could be a, e, ear, or I, It's all of them. So you don't just have like 5 vowels like we think of. Instead, there's 18, 20 vowel runes, vowel shapes. So, and they all represent a different sound.
German sounds easier to learn, dude.
Yeah.
This is Sinistar's brain on what is it? Tunic?
Tunic. I'm gonna be
Okay.
saying I'm really seriously, Wolf, don't take this the wrong way. I'm super pumped that you got all this information figured out
Me
so we can
too.
talk about
Me
it
too.
because I couldn't ruin my way out of a paper bag. If someone was like, this is the exit, this is the entrance, and wrote that all on that shit, I'd be like, well, guess I'm starving in here. Fantastic.
Oh, can I make a quick aside because
Okay.
Cthusiast Jeff is still with us in chat, and I know we don't normally, but I want to call this out because if you missed it earlier, he's saying looking at the gameplay, probably not for me. Turn off fail mode and play this game.
Yeah, don't play it the way I played. All the videos they're showing are videos that I played, and I'm strong arm everything. Don't play it like me.
Anyway.
Play it.
This is
Play it
ultimately
differently.
a puzzle game, not a
Mhm.
Souls
Yeah.
combat game. There is combat in it. You can turn it off. And honestly, when I got to the part of the fairies and I'm looking for the hidden stuff, I turned off damage. I'm like,
Yeah.
combat is over. I got the bad ending. Combat is now over. This is now a meta puzzle game, and that's how I really started enjoying this game.
Yeah, do not.
Alright.
do
I
not
did leave
take
all that
my
on,
playthrough.
but yeah, it was probably a good 8 to 10 hours of puzzling stuff out for me.
Yeah, back to
Yeah.
back to
Probably
puzzles.
more because I also translated the fucking language and did more stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Please.
There's this language. Now I'm probably gonna confuse you guys just a little bit here.
Are
for a
we
second.
speaking dragon tongue from fucking
Wait.
Skyrim? Like, do I need to
You're
worry
gonna-
about this?
You're gonna confuse me. I'm already there.
We're already there.
I
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
like I said, I did translate this. There are people who have been much more hardcore about this than I.
Absolutely.
I kind of finished when I was done. There was a lot more to do with this game that I was like, all right, that's too deep for me, but that's super cool. But people refer to the language in the game as Trunic. You
Mm.
know, Tunic, Runic, Trunic.
Runic. That's okay. That's
And
cool.
there's a reason for that I'll come back to in a moment. But basically, you do have to start translating that to actually find some of the things in the game after the fairies to
Hmm.
find the secret trophies
The trophies and shit.
and reveal them. There's a cool nod to Star Tropics in this game where you find a page that's like you have to go stand in the water for 60 seconds. But it gives you a runic language message when you do that.
Oh God.
But
So
it's
you
not
have-
translated. Yeah.
I took a picture of that and started translating it.
I was getting lost in the damn ink pictures and shit. When like the hand drawn stuff, I was like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
Wolf,
But then
did
there's
you-
also those
did
3
you-
steps. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Did
I
did
what?
you use your own translation, or did you eventually find like a dictionary translator that you could use?
No, I used my own translation.
Oh my gosh.
You
You
went
Those-
deep, I'm
those
telling
three
you.
Hardcore, my
sentences.
friend.
Those
You
3
bow down.
Fucking
sentences.
hardcore.
Those 3 sentences. Now, I do want to point out, I failed Spanish in high school. So
Had A
No
in Trunic.
bueno. But I had an A in Trunic. No
rather,
bueno.
I didn't fail. I got a D. My teacher was like, "You're failing. I'll give you a D if you don't take it again." Fair enough.
Me gusta.
But those 3 little instructions at the end of the manual that next to the picture of what is clearly the trophy room, once you've pieced that together, I translated them, and they say, find some rare golden statues. So it's literally talking about those treasure statues. Traverse the glow to visit 12 strange beings. Did you guys ever find the glow?
No.
No. 12
No.
beings? What beings?
In the treasure
No.
room, you get the glow before you've done. I don't remember what unlocked the glow, but you don't have to find all the treasures to get the glow.
No.
But there's a little glow that appears, and it's a portal
What?
that takes you to like the top of a tower. And that's where you have to unsing the greatest song, the Song of the Golden Path, as seen from within.
I hate
So
it.
you
here.
have to input.
Fucking hate it
okay,
here.
so the Golden Path, you start at the bottom and you work your way around until you get to the middle,
Right.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to unsing that. What
So you have
that
to do it
means
backwards.
is start from the middle and input it back, input
Jesus
it
Christ.
Mhm.
the
Okay.
other way going out. Once you've done that, you now have a series of 12 runes wrapped around the top of this tower. In here, you can freely rotate not freely rotate the camera. As you run around the top of the tower on the outer rim,
Right.
the camera follows you around what part of the tower you're at. So now you're given 12 runes that you can translate. They take you to a website.
What?
They take you to...
Before you get too deep into this, is your reward a fucking 4-year degree in any class of your choice, or at least in linguistics? This is
PhD in
horse
Tunic.
shit, dude. I don't know. This is too much. Somebody be paying my ass. Shit.
Okay.
That's way too much.
I'm gonna blow your mind here, Chard. Just hold
Yeah,
on.
Yeah, let him go.
There's a
This is
web-
where-
There's a
This
website.
is where I went as far down the rabbit hole as I was gonna go. But I did some digging on how far the rabbit hole goes, and it's very interesting.
Take the blue pill.
There is a second language in this game,
Jesus fuck.
and this is why people refer to the first one as Tunic.
I'm out.
They call the second one Tunic, Tunic, because there is fucking runes. I kid you not. There are runes hidden in the audio.
Is that
So if you put them in a spectrograph,
okay?
Oh, fuck me. Come on.
So no, this is
Come
great because
on.
there's tuning forks in the game, and
Yeah.
I always knew they were important, but I couldn't fucking figure it out. And I got the
Yeah,
good
That's
ending.
what it's for?
every single sound, just about every single sound effect, from what I understand, it might be all of them, it might be almost all of them. I'm not entirely certain on that. But music and sound effects in this game, almost all of them or all of them, have messages, fucking codes and ciphers to
What?
break.
Dude,
So
this
basically,
is-
it's in Tunic, you put it through a spectrogram, and then you have Tunic to translate.
Can
dude,
I,
this is like
can
Lord of
I-
the
Last I
Rings
checked,
was not this deep.
This metagame was still not completely solved.
Really?
Clearly.
I
Because
was
they were like,
gonna-
we got to get this game out. You were spending way too much time on this horse shit. We have
The-
to make this game and release it. Please release this game.
The,
Okay.
It's been
the
8
Tunic
years.
Reddit,
For fuck's sakes.
the Tunic Reddit has people working together trying to solve this, or guiding other people how to get to where they gotten to and whatsoever. So
Okay.
it's
Does this
It's
take us
really
back to
neat.
interfering interfaces?
Yeah. Well, I talked about this a little bit when we were starting to prep to run tonight's episode. And I think my biggest issue with this game, which may stall it out from being a game of the year for me, is there is so much game stacked all at the end that you get to the point where you have almost fatigue and you're like,
Yeah.
I just want this over.
My thumb hurt at the last
Now-
puzzle.
I didn't
That
get any of
said, that said, I still love this game, and there's a part of me that wants to maybe participate at a very light level with this metagame crap.
Yeah.
Like, there's a
Dive
part of
back
me
in.
that's like, okay. Anyway,
I
I
might reinstall
want to.
this game for a 5th time. Put that way.
I'm not gonna do all that, but I will probably check periodically to see if
Yeah.
people have solved the metagame, because I'm really curious to see what it leads to. But I kind of got my fill of the game. That's not to say this level of puzzling and metagame is not my cup of tea, but I do think it's rad.
It's
And the
too
fact
deep.
that
It's too deep.
arguably
Look-
yes, but it's also cool. Like this is
I mean, it's cool.
this
Don't get
is
me
where
wrong. It's
games
cool.
are these days. Like it used
Yeah.
to be Myst, where you kept a notebook of what you
Right.
were doing,
yeah.
and you worked through the game, and that was it. And this has the notes, but then it goes deeper, and it
Yeah.
goes. It makes you do. It almost makes you do homework, I guess. But
Almost.
but
I got to
it's-
study before I finish this game.
I know. I like history homework. That's what this feels like. It's okay.
but it's really neat, just the same. I thought it
Oh,
was super cool. And
Absolutely. I
the fact-
feel absolutely like I feel justified that I completed the bad ending, and I feel extremely justified that I went into the golden path.
It's not.
Like-
it-
I want to
yeah.
blow your mind
it's
real
super
quick.
rewarding. It's
Okay.
super
You've already
rewarding
blown our
to solve those
minds.
puzzles.
Werewolf's going to
Citizen
drop some more
Do I need to
knowledge
take my
bombs.
hat off? Is there brain matter going to be in my hat? Do I need to like?
No, this is Sinistar real quick. I want to
Yeah,
blow his mind
please,
a little bit
please.
because
Uh-huh.
he was working on the golden path, but because it was late last night and I wanted him to see the good ending, he only worked through about 7 or 8 of the squares, maybe.
I made it
Give or take.
through looking at my I made it all the way up the left side.
Yeah. What you didn't do was find the hidden save file.
Yeah, that was amazing. when you talked to me about that one.
And this was
Yeah.
one of those moments where Jake and I, talking back and forth, discovered some things. And it was, again, that, schoolyard sharing with your friends thing.
Fucking hate it here.
Yeah. It was so good, though.
Okay,
The save
is
file
this
thing was just rad. It's if you go into load a file, instead of hitting continue, you go to load game. Back out to the main menu. Go back into load game. Now you have a mystery save file there.
Yeah.
Where did it come from? What is it?
okay? When I was playing this one of the times and Jake was with me, I got that page of the manual, the save game page of the manual, and Jake went, "Oh," and I went, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's
Is
fine.
that what that was? Is that what
Yes,
that was?
That was
Yeah.
that.
Oh my
And like
Oh
you
my
go into that
God.
save file, and it's like a piece of a level, and you can only go one way through this pathway, and it loops around. And that pathway is you do
Part of the golden
combination.
path.
And it's part of the
Now-
it's part of the golden path. Yeah.
Here's something fun too, a little hidden thing. If you die in that save file, it'll take you back to a main overworld that is not the main game's overworld.
Does it? Like what is it then?
It does. It's people aren't sure if it's relevant to this metagame or if it's literally just like the demo tucked away in the game and you can
Okay.
sort of happen upon it. But it's a pretty good sized piece of world. I've looked at maps and
Have you guys seen Free Guy?
Yes,
Yes.
I have. Yeah.
Is this the world built on the world and we can't see it?
Interesting. Yeah.
I-
Well, because like this
Okay.
game had a vertical slice years ago, because this game has been at E3 for several years before it actually eventually came out, and like games journalists have seen this game for years, so it's neat that they took earlier versions of this game and maybe put it inside of. That's hilarious. I love
yeah.
it.
Okay,
So the runic around the title of Tunic
it says
is
secret.
it says Secret Legend, which was the
Uh-huh.
working title of the game
Right,
before it was
yeah.
properly titled.
That's cool
Which I
shit
thought
too.
was cool.
So I'm gonna modify because Chard earlier a minute ago said I hate it here. I'm not sure if I hate it or love it here. After all of this,
Yes.
I'm not sure if I hate it or love it here. But I definitely don't feel the same as I did coming into this discussion.
I
feel
love how
dumber.
deep this game
I feel
goes.
dumber.
It's
I feel like I accomplished so goddamn much, and it's for nothing. It's for nothing. It's all for naught because there's so much more to it than my meager, feeble brain, my Dark Souls riddled, dodge rolling, planned attack brain can handle. I was like, yo, I got the golden path. And then you're
I do
like,
wanna
yeah, that's nothing, idiot. There is so much more to this. Have you tried listening to the sound? There's a
Yeah.
story in the sound.
You know what, though?
fuck.
How many of us are like, look at some of this like history stuff and it's like DB Cooper, and you go and you dive into and there's some deeper thing and there's some, and eventually there's a point where you're like, I want more, and there isn't. And it seems like Tunic is providing that.
There's more there if you want it.
yeah, this is like I want more. Here you go.
This is
Uh-huh.
fucking National Treasure 3, and
Yeah.
fucking Nicolas Cage is trying to find the fucking golden path. Fuck. This is crazy. This is
Yeah.
so insane. I was so proud of myself for finding what I fucking found, only to find there's more to be found.
To
This
be
is
fair,
ridiculous.
this game sets the precedent of secrets within secrets very early on.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
I mean,
And-
it does.
And as simple as you walk into a hidden room behind a waterfall. Okay, there's your first secret. Now there's a hidden path in the lower left corner of the room where you can go further up and find a little dude wandering around, and that's the code you need to enter.
Yeah,
for
you
that
got to watch
fairy
the
or
dude
treasure
walk the
chest or
path,
whatever it was.
and that's the path that you had to put in to go Holy Cross. I mean, you're telling us this stuff, and it's amazing and it's mind blowing, but it's not like shocking, because you're set up for this. This game is nothing but a very poorly communicated relationship with two spouses. It's no one's telling each other anything, and it's all written in code, and you're mad about it, but nobody wants to explain why until you go, oh fuck, it's that. It's like, oh, someone left the stove on. It's that level where you're like, why didn't I see this before? If I had known this before, we wouldn't be fighting right now. Like that's what it's like. So you could be like, oh yeah, and if you put this input in, then your physical arms turn into wings and you could literally fly out of your house. You'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll try that next time when I do a new game plus. I mean, it's just that crazy. It's so crazy. You could tell me that if you put in the Holy Cross backwards, I will literally die on camera. I'd be like, well, okay, I'm not going to touch that. Like, I'm literally like, I would believe you. That's how crazy this is.
I just got a puzzle watching the video on YouTube.
I got you.
So I do
you
want
to
to say
watch it,
this with the Golden Path, because I thought the Golden Path was as deep as this game went. Clearly, I'm wrong, and now I have to go check this subreddit after this recording.
It's
Well, I
but-
want to go get.
I love this.
I want to go get all the treasures. I want to go get
Yeah.
all the treasures.
But I want to
I
say
will not be revisiting Tunic because I do not have the mental bandwidth to deal with any more puzzles in this
All right.
game.
But we do need to explain what the Golden Path is. If you're still listening and they're still not convinced that this game is great and worth playing, the Golden Path itself is the manual. And the idea is there's a page in the manual with a grid. And those grid has numbers. And those numbers are pages in the manual. And on each of those pages, there's a hidden golden path. It's a D-pad combination that fits into the larger grid. And it's a massive D-pad combination to put through. It's a pain in the butt if you get one of them wrong. But that
Right.
unlocks basically the last page of the manual. And when you have the full manual, then you get the good ending by going to the boss. It's
Yeah,
fucking
Chart is
amazing.
showing his.
Now,
This
Yeah,
one's
if you-
mine.
if you freeze YouTube now,
that's
you
the
can get-
combination.
the combination
And-
of the Golden Path.
Yeah.
And the ending when you complete the Golden Path is beautiful.
It
It's
is.
It
very
is.
serene.
It really is. It's really touching. There's no voiceovers in this game. There's no talking. There's no anything. And it's all done just by, and they're all straight face. There's no facial expressions. at
emoting,
all.
yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
emoting at all. But I'll tell you what, getting the good ending elicit an emotional response out of me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
for
I heard
real.
Sinistar aw so many times.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so.
Aw,
Oh!
they're hanging out. Aw.
But I got it.
Yeah.
I know we're talking Golden Path, but I feel like this needs to be brought up. And Wolf was with me when we did this. But when you get through the mine area and you're going into the quarry and you go underground, the game absolutely flips on its head.
Oh yeah,
Like, with what's going on. I mean,
I was
even
so happy
now,
to be there. for
I
you
still
seeing
don't
that.
I still
And
don't
Sinister.
totally get it, but it really blows your mind, like the setup, because you've got this cute little fox thing running around in the
Mhm.
fields, cut down
It's all.
cute little
yeah.
square bushes, and then you go into the quarry and it's rows of these terrifying pillars,
Yeah, in the
like
ziggurat
in the
underground.
distance, in the ziggurat underneath you, and you're like, what in the hell is going on?
And then you
go
see how those-
deeper,
You
you go
see how
deeper.
those things are assembled.
Right.
and there's a dude in every single one
Yes.
of them.
It's
Yeah,
the Matrix
there's a-
battery.
Miasma
Yeah.
fox locked away in each of these.
Well,
It
and then
is
there's
horrifying.
a point. I saw this. Nobody was hanging out with me when I saw this. You're crossing a bridge, and by the way, when you cross bridges, some of the most gorgeous areas pop into view. But there's
Absolutely.
one where underneath you there is a sea of
Yeah.
obelisks,
Thousands of
just
obelisks.
a
Thousands.
yeah, and you're
Mhm.
like,
And it's horrifying. It's
yeah,
really horrifying.
uh-huh.
But it's just such a weird flip for such a game that started out so cute and fun, and oh, it's Zelda, it's cool, and then you're in this underground ziggurat going, what in the hell is going on in this world? This is really dark. This is
And then-
really, it just totally flips on you.
And then
Or
you get the bad ending. And then you get the bad ending.
Yeah,
And the game is just like, it just rubs it in. It's just like, this is actually this is a dark and disturbing world. And guess what?
Yeah,
it almost like
defeated-
punishes you
Stick the
for doing
finger
it
in
quickly.
your eye.
Well,
It-
like you're
it
repeating
punish-
this
it-
cycle, right? Like you beat the
Right.
boss thinking you saved the day, but no, you're just in prison
You
and
didn't.
you're the new person in the prison.
You are,
and
yeah.
It just cycles.
It punishes you for not paying attention and not reading deeper into it and not trying to do things differently. And that's what I do love about that, is that you can just do the same thing and you follow all the books and you follow all the notes and you read the thing where it says a battle fought 1,000 times, which is one of the quotes in the pages with the with the chick with the big sword. And you go in, and Dark Souls me, I'm like, let's go, baby, let's go, kick this chick's ass. And then you die, and then you reset the cycle, and it's like, that is absolutely unsatisfying.
100%.
Okay.
It's terrible.
Something I just thought about, because Werewolf, you said I had this response of, oh, that's so cute. I don't think I would have had that result if I hadn't gotten the bad ending first.
Right.
Yeah, and I think
I do think
and that
you missed
elicits
something
the emotional response. Yes,
by not getting the bad ending before the good ending.
because you can tell, like, the character doesn't want, the thing you're fighting does not want to fight you, and it's obvious that it's like, even when you die fighting it, like, and you start over to do it again. I kept asking Jake, I was like, what's this bitch's deal? She just kicked my ass. She should be happy about it. And he's like,
she falls down
sad.
to her knees.
she falls down and like cries, and you're like, Jake's like, oh, in his Canadian Jake D voice, oh, you'll find out. And I was like,
I don't want to
yeah, I
spoil
will.
it.
I'm gonna kick this bitch's ass, because I was headhunting. I was ready to go. We were gonna chop this chick's head off and mount it on our wall. I'm all aggression, man. I wasn't about the puzzles. I was about getting this fight done and over with. And then that happened, and then we did the good ending, and it was the same as Sinistar, where I was like, "Huh." It's really like, I'm glad that Jake made me go and do that the front way, because I was hell bent on getting the good ending. I'm not doing the bad ending. Fuck that shit. I want to get all the right shit, and you do it right the first time, because that's usually how I roll.
Right.
But if I hadn't seen that, don't think, like Wolf said, I don't think I would have had the same exact response, as I was like, oh, this is so much nicer. I
So if
actually
you're
appreciate this.
If you're still with us and you haven't played the game and you're listening to Spoilerland, go get the bad ending first.
And the
This
thing
is
with this
also
game
a
too,
game-
sorry,
Oh, go
Wolf,
ahead.
the thing with this game too is, like, Sinistar mentioned, like, Tunic fatigue. Absolutely, because you spend 12 hours playing through the combat portion of the game, and you think you're done, or you're very close to being done, and then you realize you're right on the edge of your seat, that you're almost done for another 10 hours potentially, a puzzle thing.
Yeah.
You got to really let go of the idea of that this is a combat game start to finish. It's not. First half
not.
combat, last half, take your time.
Puzzles.
It's
Yep.
puzzles, pure and simple. It's
Mhm.
missed. And
Mhm.
you can't, you
Buckle-
don't want to rush through it. You don't want to
buckle
let
your
yourself
seatbelt.
feel, buckle your seatbelt. Take your time with it. Don't try and rush through thinking you're getting the ending. I think if you look at time to beat, this game is listed at 13 hours. That's very misleading. This is a 20-hour game, and it's half and
Yep.
half. And
Yep.
I don't want anybody to rush to the back half of the game
Yeah.
unless you know your time constraints. But it's such a great journey. We should wrap up soon, guys.
This is
I could talk about
Yeah,
this
one
we
game
can go
last
for
on
thing.
hours.
This
That's
is
so
also
good.
a game that will let you new game plus the hell out of it.
Yep.
Yes.
Mhm.
And
You keep your stats from the previous playthrough. So
Yeah.
you go into the next playthrough. And so I've seen screenshots of people with health bars and stamina bars that shoot off the top of the screen.
yeah, and it's one of those games where, knowing what you know after you've beaten it, you could find things backwards and go different orders. Like, it's such an interesting game. I'd like to actually see what speedruns look of this game in a year from now. It's really cool.
Yeah.
These
Anyway,
people
guys.
with the health bars and stuff off the screen also have a spectrum analyzer up on the other screen.
Track the tones. Yeah, that audio thing blew my mind. You're right, Wolf. That's crazy. All right,
You hear a
guys.
metronome in the background. Like, okay, all right, dude, we get it. You're good at this.
Yeah,
All right.
you're the boss.
You understand.
Tunic
Werewolf,
is-
I know you've had. Hang on, I want to give Werewolf, because he has so many knowledge bombs. Do you have anything else you wanted to get out before we call this?
I don't think so. I think I talked about everything I wanted to
Okay.
talk about. It's we didn't really mention it, but I think I mentioned it to all of you individually that walls that you can bomb are kind of marked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like if you pay attention, where you blew up one wall, you might be like, oh, I should keep an eye out for that. It's very much a it sets precedence and keeps that going, which is really cool.
Which is good.
Everything is a secret.
Everything's a
Everything.
secret.
It's
Everything.
all a secret legend, man.
Keep it
And
secret.
apparently, it's
Keep it
not all
secret.
in the manual. Apparently, it's not all.
Well,
No,
most of it.
some of it's in the soundtrack, apparently.
Which is
and a website.
which is crazy.
And
All
Reddit.
right, guys. Tunic is amazing. It's a strong contender for being Game of the Year. I mean, I think it's a fantastic journey. If you listen to this without playing it, shame on you, but I hope you play it now. It's worth the journey, even knowing what's at the end. It's so good. Let's go around the table and either shout something out or let me know what you're playing lately. Sinistar, how about you? Where can folks find you or what you playing?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitch, Sinistar77. I am currently working on my Sisyphean game, which is a previous episode. Go back and listen to it if you're interested. And I am working to complete that, although it sounds like I may be getting back into Tunic and either crying or feeling really good, one or the other.
Glorious.
And Werewolf, how about you? What you playing, man?
I have been playing Pokemon Legends Arceus and really digging on it. It's a little different than I
Awesome.
expected. Not as open world as I thought. Still open, but it's split up into various regions. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I feel like I'm smashing things a little more than I ought to be at this point in the game, but that is
That's
the
it.
nature of when you play a Pokemon game by catching all the Pokemon.
Arceus is a
comes with
game
the
where
territory.
I hope they use that for a template for other games in that style. Because I'd love to get back into Pokemon again, and Arceus almost had me. That's awesome. And Chard, how about you, man? Where can people find you and what you've been playing?
I'll be on Twitch playing a 200% retro achievement playthrough of Earthbound, which
Nice.
is spectacular. This is my first time ever experiencing Earthbound myself. And of course, when I always have a first time playthrough of an RPG, of course, I have to do everything 200% because I are idiot. Also,
Obsessed.
I had a fresh play of Have a Nice Death, which is going to be making some reoccurring appearances on the stream as well. I highly recommend, if you like roguelikes, to give that one a shot because it's a Dead Cells / Hades / Hollow Knight kind of spinoff. Very cool game. Check that out.
Very cool. I am Sick Jake. You can find me on Twitter mostly, occasionally on Twitch, SICJAKE. Big 20 is coming up in September. I'm not going to race it, but I always find, I say this every time, I always find the goals really interesting. This time it was community goals, and it's 20, truly, I mean, Circus Trolley is not there, but there's 20 great NES games, and the goals are actually
21.
fun. There's 21, yeah. So I've been kind of like slow playing the big 20 goals, and I'm probably going to start streaming or doing YouTube recordings of me going through the goals. It's really fun. Like it's like beating Mario 5-4, for example, or beating Little Samson's hidden boss, like stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. So if you're interested in speedrunning or retro, go check out the guys at Big 20 on Twitter. Their contest it's fun to watch in September, but it's also fun to take part in if you're into that kind of thing. So I've mostly been doing that. And as a group, we are Press B to Cancel. You can find us on all your major podcast platforms, Google and Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and all those good places. Amazon Music for some reason. Of course, you can also find us on YouTube. We do try to stream live on Fridays at 5:30 PST, 8:30 EST. And we do have a Discord. If you want the links to that, you can find it at pressbtocancel.com. Please join our Discord. I think, Sinistar, you're right. We should have a thread up for Tunic. Maybe if people are wanting to talk about spoilers in that game, if they're interested in playing through it. Because Tunic is a great game, and it's even better game if you play it with people who you can bounce ideas off of.
Even so, we can have a Tunic helpline. So if somebody is stuck somewhere, the four of us can actually help you out because we
Yeah.
know where to go.
We might know what we're talking about. Go ahead, dude.
I want to call out one thing. If you're watching or listening on YouTube, please click that subscribe and please click the notify so you know when we're live.
Yes.
Smash
and
that like and
button.
subscribe button.
Yeah.
Smash it.
We're sorry, YouTube, but we need to grow. So, I really want to see us get to 69 subscribers. That's my goal for this month. 69 just to be nice.
69, dude.
Also, we love Guy Prime, who wasn't here tonight, but we love you, dude.
We love you,
He was in
GP.
chat.
Have you even
He
played
was in
Tunic,
chat.
GP? you should play Tunic.
It's before 1996, so you're in the clear, bud.
Also, quick shout out to chat. Sinstress, of course, awesome. Blitz, my brother, Cthusiast, GP. Thanks for all being here.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
We do appreciate it.
And yeah, you said Blitz? You said Blitz, right?
Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Blitz.
All right, guys. We are Press Me to Cancel. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. Left, right, down, up, down, right, left, up, right, down, left, up, down.